Yo, what is going on everybody? It's Juan Solo here with ASQD Gaming and welcome back to the channel. Thank you all so much for tuning in today for some more Ghost Recon. So in today's video, we're going to be talking about the top 10 game mechanics that need to be in the next Ghost Recon for it to be a successful game. I don't normally do these kind of list videos, but I was thinking after the Tactical Roundtable podcast that we put up the other day, kind of going back through and listening to it on my way to work, and I was kind of writing down things that I wanted to elaborate a little bit more in a dedicated video. We'll probably go into these systems in a video by video basis, but these are a lot of really cool mechanics that I think if they were put into the next Ghost Recon game, it would be a very successful game. A lot of you guys that play Ghost Recon, it's your favorite franchise. A lot of you guys would really enjoy this moving forward. But with that being said, real quick before we jump into the list, if you guys go on to enjoy the video, a like rating would be super appreciated. Also, for those of you that may be new to the channel, make sure to subscribe and turn on those post notifications so you do not miss any of my future uploads. We are going to be doing some more Ghost Recon live streams. There will be continuous content coming out here on the channel. I'm looking to do maybe 1 or 2 videos every single week and at least 1 live stream and doing some stuff like that. So hopefully you guys stay tuned for that. So now moving on into the list. So the first thing that I think would be a main mechanic obviously is a massive open world. So I put up a poll the other day on my YouTube channel asking you guys what kind of a game would you like. If you would rather have an open world, if you would rather have a sandbox, kind of like Metal Gear Solid 5 does it, Sniper Elite series do it, or do you guys want to go back to a linear kind of style campaign, a linear game like Ghost Recon Future Soldier, or do you want to see something completely different? And the overwhelming majority of you wanted to see a massive open world, but it needs to be more in line with Ghost Recon Wildlands. I know that was the majority of the comments saying if they did an open world, it needs to feel alive, it needs to feel full, a lot more like Ghost Recon Wild did with the Bolivia map. Breakpoint really dropped the ball on that with the Aroa map, so hopefully if they do actually do an open world, it is a living, breathing open world similar to Bolivia. So now moving on to number 2, this is a new gear management system. So G-Money and I actually touched about this in the Tactical Roundtable the other night. I will be doing a dedicated video talking about this, but basically making it so that what your character is wearing actually matters. It's not just all cosmetic. So for instance, instead of having a chest rig that just looks cool, it is a functional chest rig. The mag pouches actually hold magazines for your weapon rather than having an ammo pool, and then also having a secondary inventory system similar to Ghost Recon Breakpoint. But if you guys remember in Ghost Recon Breakpoint, when you had to go into the menu and swap out things in your weapon wheel, it was extremely immersion breaking. So bringing in a gear management system where having a backpack actually matters. There would be a secondary inventory system in your backpack, and you would physically take your backpack off, and instead of it being like a super in-depth inventory system like Arma or anything like that, it's simply another weapon wheel inside of your backpack. So once you open that backpack, you can manage different things like maybe extra ammo, grenades, tactical equipment, stuff like that, but have it be an immersive thing, an immersive mechanic in the game itself, and basically make it so that what your character is wearing actually matters. Maybe even implement some sort of like a weight system, so the less things you have, the quicker and quieter you will be. Obviously, if you go the other direction with that, I just think that would be a cool mechanic to get us a little bit away from the arcade style gameplay of the current iterations of Ghost Recon. Now moving on to number 3, this is a smaller thing, but it is a huge thing that a number of people have been asking for over the years, and that is weapon slings. So instead of when you switch weapons, you just kind of magnetize the weapon to your back on your character, have an actual proper sling so that the weapon slings down in front of you, or you can technically put it over your shoulder, but it's physically on a weapon sling when you pull out your sidearm, or for instance, if you have 2 primary weapons, things like that. Things that a lot of people notice rather than just have the weapon magically stick to your back. It's more realistic, but a number of you guys have been asking for it, and I think it would be a huge nod to the fans if they actually put weapon slings in the game. Now to kind of piggyback off of that to number 4 with the immersion and the weapon sling is a first person / third person game. So currently in Ghost Recon, you have the third person mechanic. It's pretty much always third person. It has a cover system and everything like that, but basically make it because of the first person perspective when you aim in is already there. It is already fully fleshed out in the game. Just make it similar to how Arma is, where you can switch between that third person and first person perspective whenever you want. I think this would be a huge thing for the Ghost Recon franchise, and maybe even bring a lot of attention to it, because there are a number of people that like playing these kind of games, but some people want to play it in first person, some people want to play it in third person. Give us the option to play it in whatever perspective we want to play, especially because with the first person mod that was made for Ghost Recon Wildlands, somebody that was just kind of like your average Dro modder, I'm not throwing slack or anything at him, but made this mod so that you can play all the way through Ghost Recon Wildlands in first person. There are a few clipping issues with some of the vehicles and some of the headpieces and stuff that you wear, but if a modder can institute a first person mod that feels really good in a game, the developers could definitely do that as well. Moving on to number 5. Now this one might be a little bit controversial depending on how you guys want to play through the next game, but it is a rebel and resource system similar to Ghost Recon Wildlands. Me and G Money did talk about this in the tactical roundtable the other night. So having some sort of a faction, it doesn't necessarily have to be a rebel faction like Ghost Recon Wildlands, but having some sort of a rebel system where you can get their assistance kind of like you can in Ghost Recon Wildlands. You have the resource system in the game, but have the resource system be strictly for the rebel system in the game. Instead of requiring you to go out and gather resources and stuff to level up your character and unlock skills, you should be able to go out and gather resources to help level up the rebel system. But also, if you want to call in a mortar strike, you need to make sure you have enough munition resources to carry out that mortar strike. Have some sort of a currency system in game for those resources, and as you use the rebel system, it expends those resources depending on what rebel system that you use. And for instance, if you go into a mission and you want to have rebel backup or something, and you didn't get enough food or something like that to kind of help out the rebels, you might not get as many troops as you normally would. I just think it is a cool system to kind of expand upon the system from Ghost Recon Wildlands that I think was really lacking in Ghost Recon Breakpoint. So now moving on to number 6, this is better ballistics that would equal longer gunfights. So we did touch on this a little bit in the TAC roundtable the other night, but currently the system that is in place in Ghost Recon, the majority of your gunfights happen within 200 meters. If you were to jump over to Arma, you're going to be getting into gunfights over 1,000 meters. So I'm not saying that we go that crazy in depth with the realism and with the ballistics and stuff like that, but definitely moving those ranges out, actually putting in a proper ballistics system. Like for instance, in Ghost Recon Wildlands, your bullets would drop off so much over short distances. So we need to tweak that a little bit to make it a little bit more in line with what the game would need to be. But basically make it so that if you're creeping up on a base that has sniper towers and you're not being careful, those snipers are going to spot you and start engaging you from 500, 600, 700 meters out, especially when it comes to like the backup, the Unidan mechanic, the rebel mechanic, anything like that. When it comes to the gunfight distances, they need to push those out a little bit more, incorporate a better ballistic system so we can have more proper gunfights in different scenarios rather than having it just be like everything centered around compounds. Now moving on to number 7, this is better and more believable AI. Obviously with the progression through the systems of the games moving forward, we're probably going to be getting better AI. That's just usually how the systems work, but making it so that the enemy actually flanks. The enemy tries to save another character, similar to how Sniper Elite works. So if you take down an enemy in Sniper Elite and you don't actually finish the kill, other AI will come over and try to revive him just like we would and get him back in the fight. I think that would be a cool mechanic to see in a Ghost Recon game. Also, I would like to see the AI be a little bit more careful about their lives rather than just run at you like the shotgun rusher does in Ghost Recon Breakpoint. Actually hide behind cover, have a suppressing fire feature like it was in Ghost Recon Future Soldier. You would have somebody on like an LMG that would just be laying down fire and you wouldn't be able to pop out from behind your cover because you're being actively suppressed. I think that would be a really cool mechanic to see come back to the game, especially if the AI actually tried to tactically take you down. Smoke grenades, flanks, different tactics. Make it so that they're sort of actually communicated between each other to make the game feel a little bit more realistic rather than just having all of the AI mainly on rails. So now moving on to number 8, this one is definitely my personal opinion, but I'm not exactly sure how a lot of you guys would feel about this, but we need a new Ghost Squad in the next game. We've had enough of Nomad. We've had him for 2 full games. I don't know if they're going to want to go back and rehash like Hunter Team or even set it in a previous time or anything like that with like Team Predator. I really think they need to go back to the drawing board and bring us a brand new Ghost Squad. Have a lot of voice lines similar to how it worked in Ghost Recon Wildlands. The chit chatter and the battle chatter and stuff between the ghosts was really, really good. It was really immersive, and sometimes it was just really fun just to listen to. And I think if they brought in a new ghost team, make sure that there's some really good personalities in that ghost team, kind of like Kozak, 30K, even Holt and Weaver and stuff had some really cool lines in Ghost Recon Wildlands, but there has to be a form of camaraderie between the AI teammates and your main character. It can't just be like some of the tactical talk that's in Ghost Recon Breakpoint. I know the AI teammates were kind of an afterthought in that game, but going into the next game, I hope they build that system from the ground up with a new squad and with a lot of battle chatter and comms. Now, moving on to number 9, to kind of piggyback off of that, it is going to be proper AI controls. So in the current system in Ghost Recon, even the developers did say that there is no need to micromanage your AI teammates. Personally, I would love to micromanage the crap out of my AI teammates. I want to be able to control their every move. I want to be able to control who they engage, where they engage, how they engage, and do it by basically an AI teammate by AI teammate basis, rather than just issuing a command that goes out to all of them. I want to be able to individually control what they do. Similar to kind of how the old SOCOMs games were back 20 years ago, you could have one teammate provide cover, you could have another teammate flank, you could have them breach and clear, bang and clear, stuff like that. They don't have to go super in depth with the mechanics, but let me fully be able to control my AI squad individually and have a little bit more tactics when it comes to moving and engaging, rather than just telling them to open fire and they run in and clear the entire base before you can even move like they currently do in Ghost Recon Breakpoint. So moving on to number 10, and we will have an honorable mention here at the very end of the video, so make sure to stay tuned for that. So we have better character and weapon customization. So I think we really need to elaborate a little bit more on the weapon and character customization in the Ghost Recon franchise. Being able to have proper military chest rigs, different helmets, different night vision goggles, different tactical goggles and stuff like that. Really embrace the military feel of a Ghost Recon game, rather than having a bunch of stuff that you really wouldn't normally wear in a tactical shooter. Yes, you can't dull it down so it's all military stuff, but you definitely need to put a lot more military things in the game when it comes to different military backpacks, chest rigs, tactical belts with the ability to remove the tactical belt. And if it's a functional gear system where if you take the battle belt off, you lose those inventory slots, I'm totally okay with that, but make it a working system that goes hand in hand with the gear management system, but make it so that we have a lot of military style choices when it comes to the gear, along with the weapon customization. I would like to see that a little bit more in line with Ground Branch. You guys are actually kind of seeing that on screen here, but being able to fully customize your weapons, different grips, different lasers, some canted sights, some main primary sights, having the foldable front and rear sights and stuff like that, being able to fully customize your weapon. Gunsmith was a huge step forward with the Ghost Recon franchise from Future Soldier to Wildlands, but I feel like they took a big step back with Breakpoint, instituting the system that had pre-built weapons. I want to see a fully in-depth customization system for the weapons, sort of like a Gunsmith 3.0, I guess you could say. Not quite as far as Escape from Tarkov, but I feel like that would be, if you kind of found a happy medium between like the current Ghost Recon system and Arma, I think that would be a happy medium. It would appease a lot of people that want to customize their weapons even more. So an honorable mention here at the end, and I feel like this is something that has to absolutely happen for this game to be successful, and that is the ability to play the campaign offline. Having the game not be online all the time would be a huge step forward. You could do that in Ghost Recon Wildlands, but for some reason they wanted that online only all the time with Ghost Recon Breakpoint. I understand they had a shared system with the PvP in that game, but they need to make it so that if you just want to go on and play the campaign by yourself, you can do that in offline mode. You don't necessarily have to be online all the time. I know that there are a number of people that have been asking them to do that with Ghost Recon Breakpoint since the launch all the way back in fall of 2019, and they have yet to do that. But that is something huge that I think they definitely needs to institute in the next Ghost Recon game. So with that being said, that is going to do it for the video. Let me know your thoughts on all of this down below in the comments. Did I miss something that you want to see in the next Ghost Recon game? Are you happy with my list? Do you think I need to add to it? Is there something in the list that you do not like? Make sure to leave all of those thoughts down below in the comments. But like I said, that is all for the video. If you guys enjoyed it, you are excited about the possibility of another Ghost Recon gaming in development, make sure to drop a like on the video and also subscribe if you are new to stay up to date on all content surrounding the Ghost Recon franchise here on the channel moving forward. But that is all for now. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will catch you guys later.